time we discuss the next episode, don't you, lads?
Yes, so, yeah, I'm pretty excited to talk about it, so I'm just going to announce it. It's Rick Sanchez versus the Doctor.
Everyone's reactions to this episode?
When my reaction's out, which will probably be the time this second part comes out, I'm hyped. Like,
oh boy, we get the Doctor! Yay!
And this is where I'm going to start.
Cartoon.
And this is where I surprise everyone. I am the Doctor Who fan, and my immediate was, oh, for fuck's sakes.
You're both parasites.
Listen, I can respect what Rick and Morty has done. It's just I don't like the show that much.
And you're talking.
We're in the same boat then.
Well, it's a good thing that you're not talking to someone who's a big Rick and Morty fan right now.
Yeah, that's a positive.
At least we're not in punching range.
This time is going to be Rick Sanchez versus the Doctor, which I assume it's all the Doctors combined into one, which makes the most sense.
Oh yeah, they technically are the same character.
Obviously, yeah.
Right. I know because I saw a reaction from somebody that was asking, like, which Doctor is it going to be? And I was just like,
yeah,
isn't it all of them?
So I guess this is actually a good segue into talking about, because I know maybe someone's going to bring up in our comments. Yes, people. Years ago, we did talk about characters who we think didn't belong in Death Battle. One of those was the Doctor. And some people didn't quite understand what we were talking about. So, first of all, when we were bringing up which Doctor do they use, we're mostly referring to what is the fan favourite that most people would want to see in the fight. People still didn't quite understand that. We're not talking about feats.
Well, right now, ironically. Well, ironically, right now, it's David Tennant's the current Doctor, so and he's the most popular one of the new ones.
I mean, he was teased in the next time as well, so. And
yeah,
again, because David Tennant is that iconic.
Yeah,
he's also playing the current version of the Doctor before the new guy takes over during the Christmas special.
Yeah, that's the thing. I do think they are going to use David Tennant, but obviously, people do.
Yeah.
This is a thing in the Doctor Who community. People still to this day, even though David Tennant is considered a really good Doctor by a lot of people, there's still people who would say like other actors are better. Many people have been saying the female Doctor should be up there as well, and it's like I feel as though depending on which
writing female Doctor was shit.
It was. I did hear though that her last few episodes were really good. Apparently her regeneration scene was apparently really emotional. But
here, how many Doctors have there actually been though in total?
13, right?
I'll get on that when I explain the Doctor's backstory, because there is some things I do need to explain before I mention that.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Because there are two backstories and I do need to explain both of them.
Yeah, so I guess we should actually so I guess this is Rick versus the Doctor, right?
Yep.
Start with the blue-haired crack addict.
Yeah, he's an addict in so many places, Sean. So, Rick Sanchez. This might be a popular show. It's kind of unheard of. Rick and Morty. So the show centers around an old man. Like the first season, let's be clear, like because this show does have a story arc, but more people just interested in like the random adventures that come along with it.
They're not interested in the overall plotline. They're more interested in the shenanigans.
Yeah, let's be for real here. That's what I'm here for. I like the overarching story, but at the same time, I just want to see Rick and Morty get up to some crazy shit. So Rick and Morty started off as just an old man and his grandson just going on space adventures. How did I know I was going to love this show? Well, when Morty's in his school and they do like the cliche, like, oh, he has a girl crush and there's like a really angsty bully. Rick freezes the bully and goes, Morty, we got to go on another adventure. And Summer, being the sister, has a crush on the bully that bullies her brother, because a lot of shows just had that for some reason. Like, I don't know who would be okay with that.
Don't get me started on that, because we'll be here for the next hour.
But then the bully dies. Rick forgot to unfreeze him, and he just shattered in front of her. I was like, wow, okay.
Okay.
And then,
We're barely 5 minutes in, and this show seems messed up as hell.
oh no.
It is.
This is just the first episode, Sean. I want to go over this. So, Rick needs these very special type of seeds, and unfortunately, Rick tells Morty, "I used my fluid to go to another dimension, so you're gonna have to shove these up your ass, and we need to go through a galactic portal." And these are not small seeds; these are like the size of a baby. And Morty had to shove them, as Rick says, way up there, Morty, because my ass is too flappy. They'll fall out.
What the fuck?
Nah, here's the funny thing. So they finally get to the bit where they need to escape. They're like, all right, we just go through this portal and we're home. The guard goes, oh, except for you guys, you need to go over there. It's like, why? Well, you see, we have a new detector now. It detects things way up your butt. And Rick just grabs Morty and goes, run, Morty! And they just run for it. And then Rick has to get the portal to send him and Morty back to their dimension. So he tells Morty, his grandson, to wield a gun. In fact, it's even funny when you consider the next season of what Rick has in his arsenal. He didn't need Morty to do this. Gives Morty a gun to shoot at the guard, and he goes, don't worry, Morty, they're just robots. Shoots one guy in the leg, and he starts bleeding out. He says, call Jerry's family, he's dying. They're not robots, Rick. It's a matter of speech, Morty. I don't respect them. It's bureaucrats. That cracked me up.
This is in season 1.
Episode 1 as well. It's just the guy just bleeding on the floor, and Morty's freaking out, and Rick just goes, they're not, I was using robots metaphorically. They're bureaucrats.
Is there a reason this guy's so messed up?
Well, now I guess I should talk about the overarching story. Spoilers.
Please do, because I need some explanations.
So, eventually there's this group introduced called the Council of Ricks. Yes, it's a reference to the Council of Reeds from Marvel, yes. So, loads of Ricks.
Oh god.
But here's the interesting twist that I love. So, all these Ricks came together to stop the Rick. Because at one point, one of these Ricks went back to... it's confusing. So the Rick that we follow was struggling to make interdimensional travel. He visits a Rick who's part of a big group of Ricks that have discovered this, and he wants to share his knowledge. But, surprisingly, the Rick we know didn't want that. He finally decided, that sounds lonely. I think I'll just be happy as a family man. And that Rick was like, oh, whoa, hold on. No, Ricks don't decide this. What are you? He's like, I guess I'm a different type of Rick. Because, eventually that Rick decided he wanted to give up science and just, you know what? Maybe I'll just be happy being a family man. Then that Rick killed his family after hearing that. So the Rick we follow has been spending his whole life trying to find this one Rick, and he's been murdering all sorts of Ricks from different dimensions to the point multiple universes of Ricks had to come together to try and stop him, and they failed. And the episode, it was on season 5 or 6. I think we're on season 7 at the moment. Yeah, so it must have been season 5. We finally got to see.
Season 7's airing as we.
Yeah, so it was season 5 when they revealed it. Yeah, so Rick, the reason he's just messed up is because he lost his family. And the montage they show of him going on this big adventure, well, just trying to find this Rick, killing all these different Ricks, and it just not being the Rick he needs, and him nearly having an emotional breakdown. It's fucking sad.
Okay.
So this man's having a crisis with himself.
Yeah.
I can understand. I can now at least understand why he's so fucked up, because, to be fair, losing your family does things.
Oh no, Keir, do you want to know how he lost his family? This wasn't like a simple, they got shot in their faces. No.
No, they didn't get shot. They got royally fucked up. I think I can picture some of it, which it helps explain why he's so fucked up.
No,
because it's how fucked up the murder is, at least how fucked up the person becomes.
Yeah, Rick was calling to his daughter and wife that, hey, let's go get ice cream. And as soon as they came out, the Rick that killed his family dropped a freaking atom bomb on them and incinerated them. Right in front of him.
kind of what I was expecting, to be honest.
Honestly, I did not. I just thought it would have been like saying, I don't know, they get sucked into a black hole. So given the fatality in Mortal Kombat 1, that seems way more brutal.
No, I was expecting just someone to just disintegrate them into nothingness.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So, yeah, Rick's been just trying to find this one Rick that killed his family. In doing so, though, he's just made enemies all across the galaxy. I'm not even kidding. Freaking fly alien mobsters, robot rebellions.
Fly alien lobsters isn't exactly unusual for me.
No, I mean, as in, like, it's a literal fly that is a mobster, and his goons are frogs. In fact, do you want to know why Rick became enemies with this one particular character?
It's going to be something completely batshit insane, isn't it?
Someone shat in his toilet, and he tracked down the shit that came from that mobster's restaurant. Yeah. In fact, even the...
You can't see me, but I'm just pissed off him.
In fact, the monster was like, well, hold on, this is literally about a sandwich. I'm literally a fly mobster. Like, there's a million things that's really cool about me, and this is what you're focused on.
Yeah, I'm wondering why.
He started wars with, like, no joke, a galactic empire that Earth is not aware of. In fact, they're not even aware of Earth, the Empire, until later on.
That kind of makes sense. Really, considering how Earth's portrayed in these films.
He was going through an existential crisis that he joined a rebellion just so he could just start killing this galactic empire. Even though they had nothing to do with Rick, but like the Rick he's looking for.
Star Wars.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a literal scene where they mock Star Wars.
Yeah, I was about to say you'd mock Star Wars if you're doing that.
Like there was,
to be fair, has been everyone since the sequels came out.
Like there was an episode where turkeys were about to revolt against humanities. Don't look into it. So Rick uses AT-ATs, and one of the soldiers goes like, "Sir, they're using AT-ATs, or as the sad nerds would call it, AT-ATs." Which honestly,
hearing turkeys rebelling against humans, that doesn't sound that far-fetched.
Yeah, Rick and Morty is just an amazing show. Like, yeah, I will admit it is kind of scummy that the original actor got fired after he got proved innocent on a lot of cases. I mean, he was a douchebag to his employees, so I kind of understand why people might not want to work with him anymore. But I think it's more that rather than what he was proved innocent of. If you catch my drift. Yeah, no, he was cleared of those charges as well. Turns out the woman was lying. It's another Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, but obviously because you know the media don't want to.
Some people that believe Amber Heard's innocent and all that, and then it just starts a mess.
Yeah, companies just don't want to take that risk, which is it's really one-sided. The new actor's not bad for Rick. The new actor for Morty is not great, but that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, not for us to. That's not for us to debate.
Yeah, so. Yeah, Rick has done a lot of crazy shit in his whole pursuit of getting revenge. Maybe he'll get it this season or the next one. Honestly, I just want to talk about the crazy shit he does when he's not trying to kill himself. And sometimes literally himself, other times a different version of himself. Oh, and you know, I might as well say this.
I'm surprised he doesn't go to the Council of Ricks, just go, alright, the reason why I'm doing this is I want to kill this motherfucker. Can you tell me where he is? Also, before we actually start talking about the Doctor, Sean, another thing I want to mention, he wants fucked a planet. A literal planet. You know, just because planet.
I mean, that's almost. I would be surprised. I would be surprised. No, but didn't Sokka fuck the moon chick?
Yeah. In fact, Keir, what were you about to say?
You know, just because it can't reject you doesn't imply consent.
No, the planet accepted it. The planet was a living thing. He found it on Space Tinder.
Oh god, he fucked Mojo.
It's...
Or he fucked Ego.
Whichever you want to.
Really?
Whichever you want to go with. I just felt like. just referencing it just to hear Sean's reaction.
Robuscus is going to hear that and just goes, "Fucking what?"
So. I guess now we should start to hear about the Doctor. I know quite a bit about him, but obviously we brought Keir on as a guest because he's going to talk about him.
Oh yes, let me start describing the Doctor and the two backstories they have. God, I fucking hate the second one.
Be sure to grab a drink, everybody. We're about to get wild.
We're gonna get Swifty in here. Okay, that's enough Rick and Morty references.
Right, so the Doctor is originally an alien from the race known as Time Lords from the planet of Gallifrey. Insert the quote about how old the Doctor is, where he's from, yada yada yada, that he did in the New Who. He originally ran away from the planet inside a TARDIS, time and relative dimension in space, or proper name is, and went on wacky adventures with his granddaughter first. Yeah, apparently due to like some shenanigans, he's like one of the few Time Lords that can naturally fuck and like breed normally, because Time Lords are like born in chips apparently. Don't ask. So yeah, went on wacky adventures with several different companions. Died and regenerated a lot over the years. So to be fair, sometimes the deaths can be a bit weird. He once died from falling from a great height. That's how they killed off Tom Baker. But then, of course, after Doctor Who was cancelled in the 80s, and when they brought it back in 2005, they explained, basically, the Doctor then fought in something called the Time War. Now, for the Time War, for those of you that don't know, was a war against the Daleks that was so violent, it had to be time locked. Yes, in Doctor Who, you can time lock a war. It was because battles were being restarted, redone, the winners, the losses, and yada 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 yada.
In fact, isn't it that really the Time Lords aren't really good guys? Like, they're kind of egotistical in their own right?
Oh, pretty much so.
Yeah, it's not like, the Daleks killed off a peaceful race. It's like, nah, they were pieces of shit as well.
To be fair, the Daleks want to kill everything.
Yeah, someone's got to have a hobby.
And the Time Lords are like the only race that are powerful enough to fight them. It was the Great War. It was the War of all wars. As I said, it was time locked because they did mention that, because in season 4, episode 4, the Sontarans mentioned that they weren't allowed to join the Time War, which is really interesting, since the Sontarans are a race that are literally bred for war. They had like a 50,000-year war with the Ruton Post, which was looked into in the 4th Doctor's run. But yeah, then eventually the Time War ended with Gallifrey being destroyed, with the Daleks and the Time Lords dead. Well, I say dead. It turns out one Doctor escaped and a few Daleks did. Because that's when New Who starts up, and that's kind of where I start. Yeah, I started on the 9th Doctor with Christopher Eccleston.
Honestly, underrated Doctor. Not many people talk about him, but honestly, the actor is great.
Yeah, he just got shafted by... He got messed around by the BBC, and he quite understandably walked off.
Yeah, honestly...
He only recently came a couple of years ago to do Big Finish audiobooks.
Yeah, honestly, like, his first episode really set the... like, when he's speaking to Rose, it's like, I'm the Doctor, by the way, who are you? Rose. Hello, Rose. Pulls out a bomb. Run for your life. Like that immediately. I was like, I'm good.
Run for your life.
Also, the whole, like...
immediately...
I like the little bit when she goes like, if you're from space, how come you have a northern accent? Every planet's got a north.
They do this with a lot of Doctors. They even do that with Peter Capaldi, where one of his companions, why are you Scottish? Lots of planets have a Scotland. They declare an independence from every planet they land on. So yeah, they do reference the fact that the Doctor does sound North, sometimes sounds Scottish.
But he's still not fucking ginger.
Right.
10 years Doctor Who.
That's one of the long running jokes in Doctor Who. The Doctor wants to be ginger. I never transformed into a ginger. Although it does make sense, he did want to he nearly banged the ginger chick once. Yeah, Amy Rose, yeah. It's Amy Pond, not Amy Rose. Oh, Amy Pond, one of the best companions. But yeah, the Doctor yeah. So the Ninth Doctor, which is not the Ninth Doctor, I'll get to that in a bit. Then started it was a damaged Doctor from the Time War. The Time War really fucked them up.
I feel like any war would.
Oh, this was like the best way. Imagine World War II if, like, for example, the battle for the Channel constantly changed all the time. It's like one day the Germans and the Nazis won, next one the Brits, and yada yada yada.
Yeah,
it was getting so bad. A lot of innocent planets were being destroyed just in the crossfires.
Alright, well, we're at an hour and a half, so just like I did the big reveal about why Rick does this thing, Keir, why don't you reveal to Sean what the Doctor did to end this war? Because it is the most depressing, again, the theme of this season, depression. Like, yeah.
As you can tell, I left to get a drink because I know I was in for a doozy. Oh boy.
Yeah, if you
so the Ninth Doctor, which who then, after his great run and his depressing moments, Doomsday is still a great piece of music. Transformed to the 11th Doctor. Then during the 60th anniversary, he met up with his 10th version and the War Doctor, who's actually the 9th Doctor. He just forgot about it because, well, it was the Doctor that fought in the Time War.
And he might have done something which got retconned, but what did he originally do?
So all versions of the Doctor, all 13, which, so all versions of the Doctor went to different points in Gallifrey and put it in a stasis cube. Now, what's a stasis cube, you ask? It basically time locks. It time locks a moment because he was going to use a weapon that would destroy both Time Lords and the Daleks. But instead of using the weapon, which was sentient, it was betrayed by Billy Piper, who's also known as Bad Wolf. If you've watched Doctor Who, that kind of does then start making sense. So what he then does is that he puts Gallifrey in a stasis cube, and the Daleks kill themselves.
Until their ratings were dropping and they needed to come back.
What?
The Daleks were only meant to be in the first episode, or one of the first episodes. They were that popular, they're now one of the most iconic British TV history.
It's true, actually. But that wasn't the...
Yeah, the Daleks destroyed each other. Explain! Explain! Explain!
That's gonna be me in my head this whole discussion.
But that wasn't what the Doctor thought he originally did, though. Like,
no, he thought he destroyed the Time Lords as well.
Yeah, like Sean, he thought he killed his entire race just to end a war.
Oh, so like John Jones.
Yeah. Well, John Jones didn't kill his entire race. They just got killed by, like, all sorts of things. But yeah, imagine having to be the one to decide. I need to, like, he had his hand on the bomb. He had to be like, I have to kill my entire race just to save the universe.
There was how many children were on Gallifrey that? I think it was like 1.2 billion. Or was it 2.4 billion?
Yeah. Obviously, he got retconned to be that whole. He trapped them in a stasis cube. But sure, imagine having to be that person. You're standing on the trigger, and you have to decide either kill your entire race, or stop this war. To like kill your entire race to stop this war, just so the universe remains safe, or just continue an endless war, just so your race could have a chance at potentially living, but other planets could get caught in the crossfire. Imagine having to make that.
They were getting caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
And I think time itself was being damaged from it.
Yeah, imagine having to make that decision.
To be fair, the Daleks also did make the reality bomb. Which, for those that watched Screw Attack back in the day, it was voted as the most destructive weapon in fictional history.
I think that's kind of changed now. I'd argue Scooby-Doo beats it.
Kind of, but the reality bomb destroys everything. Doesn't matter anything, it destroys reality itself. That includes parallel universes, apparently, according to Who Logic.
Talk about depression overload.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets worse, Sean.
Oh, God.
After, then it started the Peter Capaldi era, then the Jodie Whittaker era. So this is where I said the Doctor now has 2 backstories. Because then they introduced something called the Timeless Child. I assume Billy isn't aware of this.
No, I'm not. But if you want to spoil, I'm not too angry. I've not seen this season. I'm not too bothered.
Well, to be fair, you're going to have to be spoiled because I think they're going to have to mention this.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm saying I'm not too bothered by it.
Right. So the Timeless Child was the main storyline of one of Jodie Whittaker's seasons of the Doctor. It was not the best. For a lot, people were theorizing who the Timeless Child was. Some were theorizing it was the Master.
Oh,
the Doctor's
story
best when he was younger.
Yeah, the story between the Doctor and the Master is so tragic.
Yeah. Although the people that play the Master have done pretty good in their roles, like John Simmons in particular, did really good. The Master is what the Doctor could have been. Instead, he has a heart.
It was one of the episodes I remember when this is like in the newer seasons. The Master calls the Doctor and he's like, "Where's Gallifrey?" And he goes, "It's gone." And the Master's like nearly breaking into tears, like, "What do you mean it's gone?" Like, yeah,
it's gone.
It's like, imagine having to be told your planet's gone, your race are gone.
You're the only 2 of your race left. That was one of the overarching themes of season 3, because of the phrase "from the face of Poe." You guys don't care about spoilers, right?
I've seen this season, don't worry.
We're gonna get spoiled in the episode.
Yeah, we're probably going to.
The face of Poe, who's actually Captain Jack. Yeah, Captain Jack ends up becoming the face of Poe.
Yeah, I won't lie, that was a pretty good twist.
That was.
In fact,
hold on. Doctor, you are not alone.
Hold on, hold on. I need to actually, Sean, I want to hear your reaction. This is the face of Poe. Behold, the wisest character.
Is killing me.
The oldest character in Doctor Who and the wisest.
He looks like the Sphinx.
No.
Actually, I will say he's not the oldest now. That's something I do need to.
No.
Before I talk about the Timeless Child, the Doctor in his first backstory is canonically 4,500,000,000 years old. Yeah. Mostly thanks to the confession dial that he had during his run as Peter Capaldi.
Also, I just want to, sure. This is what he originally looks like. This is what the face of Poe used to look like. Pretty handsome guy.
John Barrowman, who turns out a lot of people.
Yeah, you're cutting up.
He turns out to be a bit, Yeah, if you look up John Barrowman on Twitter these days, you'll see what people say about him.
Oh, is he not really a liked guy?
Yeah.
Oof.
But he was
if this was a depression battle, I don't know if there would be a winner between Rick and the Doctor.
I think the Doctor would win.
Yeah, Rick lost his family. The Doctor lost his race and his planet.
He witnessed the last member of his race dying in his arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Master was shot by his wife at the end of season 3 and died in the arms because he refused to regenerate.
That was a sad ending. I nearly cried at that as a kid. Because it's like the Master was evil, but having to see not only your old best friend, but potentially the last of your species die in front of you.
Of course, the Master didn't die. He came back at the end of David Tennant's run.
Yeah.
The Time Lord's also almost back as well. This was before the stage thing was revealed.
Yeah,
it sounds like that both these two are very complicated story-wise, which
I
is
haven't
understandable.
even gotten into the next bit of I haven't even gotten into the second story of the Doctor. Just that you do have to explain a lot of shit before you start explaining that backstory.
All right, do you know what, since we'll only have 20 minutes left after you, in 4 minutes, do you want to just quickly go through it and then we'll get to the debate? Or what they have in their arsenal?
So the Timeless Child was the main story arc of, as I said, of Jodie Whittaker's seasons of the Doctor, it turns out the Timeless Child is the Doctor. He did the one thing they weren't supposed to do and give the Doctor a proper backstory. Because the Doctor is a being from another universe. Dropped into ours, was found by a woman on Gallifrey, and could regenerate and was experimented, which eventually led to the Time Lords. Apparently that's how they got the regeneration abilities.
That's pretty dumb. Kind of takes all the mystery of Doctor Who.
The Doctor also originally had 13 lives. That was the main point of Matt Smith, because he didn't have any regenerations left at the end of his. Because this is after they revealed the War Doctor, which explains why he was dying at the end of his. Because during David Tennant's run, he was shot by a Dalek and nearly died. He just siphoned the energy off into his hand. So he got a new cycle of regeneration. Time Lords from the Kraken space. There was a Kraken space in time. Don't ask, because I don't know if I can explain it.
Sean, British media is a bit funky. You should see our commercials.
If you go into that crack, all traces of your existence is gone. It's like if Ray from Fairy Tail used Lost Ice Shelled himself. Because in one episode, like, military members would go in, and then you'd say their name and people would go, he was never here. What do you mean? There's no that.
Oh yeah, that was a really fucked up episode. Like, you see each soldier going at a time, but Amy remembered them, but then you just knew what was going to happen to each of those soldiers.
Oh yeah, and Amy's also his mother-in-law.
Oh yeah.
Because he married their daughter. Don't ask.
Yeah,
apparently the Doctor married a lot.
Yeah, we could go over the entire story of Doctor Who, Sean, where there's a again, when a show we said this in the past, when a show goes on for so long, there's retconning. They've done that with Rick and Morty as well, because, you know, the show was originally just meant to be
no show's immune to the retcon.
Yeah, like Rick and Morty was meant to just be a show about an old man and grandson that, you know, went on adventures. But then it's like, oh, but this happened to Rick, and things get added in each season. So, but speaking of that,
they add to Rick's arsenal.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm going into the assumption, given the fact they were teased in the next time, we're obviously going to count in their ships as well, like the TARDIS and literally Rick's ship's just called Spaceship.
Yes, the TARDIS, which is technically a second combatant because it is sentient.
Yeah, I'm so surprised when you were going over the Doctor's backstory, you never brought up the fact he stole a time machine.
Yeah, because he kind of just glossed over that fact.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot to talk about these two, to be fair. But let's get on to what people mostly want to hear. So
yeah, the weaponry.
Yeah,
or what they'll have in the battle.
I'm just going to say this outright. I think we can all agree. In terms of arsenal, Rick has this. Like, I'm just going to go to the weapons that we most... Oh. Sorry, again, you cut out.
No, the Doctor has access to a lot of weird shit.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't, but if we had to say who has the most arsenal, Rick has this.
Rick shows his arsenal more, yes, I will admit that. But not compared to the Doctor.
Let's go over Rick's arsenal and then we'll touch on that.
So, of course, we know he has the portal gun. Yeah, no shit. That's what he's known for. Now, you may think, okay, it's just a portal gun. It's not really used for combat. No, it can actually be used for combat. So,
of course, it's a portal gun. You can be creative with it.
So, for instance, there's a legit universe called the Blender universe. No one knows what it looks like, because if you open that portal and push someone into it, all that comes out is blood and all you hear is shredding. There's a literal universe just called the Blender universe, which is apparently the oldest Rick trick in the book. So, yeah, he managed to just... Like, this is a different Rick, but... Yeah, He used a portal gun, and it accidentally sent another Rick into a Blender universe. Rick also has just a shitload of guns, including one that literally shits out a middle finger at people.
Okay, that is used for comedic effect only.
That is funny though. I love that. Like, he does that to the person that shat in his toilet. We've come full circle.
Is it called the FU 69,000? If not, I'm disappointed.
Oh, that should have been called the shit talker. But he also has loads of guns that can grow you, turn you inside out, make you explode from the inside out. He could go Ant-Man and shrink down to like the tiniest cell and enter a body. He also has the Me. I think they're gonna have to throw in the Me-Seeks at some point. So the Me-Seeks, they're not anything powerful, but they're basically minions that have to complete their objective because they're immortal. They can't die until they complete their objective. Like, shoot them, stab them, doesn't work. Like, they have to complete their objective, and you could just spawn loads of these, and they just act as, like, impervious shields. You could just be like, shield me for 30 seconds, and they'll shield you for 30 seconds, and then they die. Trust me, don't worry, Sean, they prefer to die. Because, as they say, being alive is agony. Why did Rick create a sentient being just to serve and enjoy dying? It's Rick.
Don't I?
He's built a literal bomb that could blow up a universe. Why? Because he was bored. Or drunk. One of those. Hell, he's literally teamed up with a spoof team that are meant to be like parodies of like the Justice League and Avengers. And he's killed interdimensional villains that they've struggled to beat. He done it while he was in a drunken state. Yeah, I'm not kidding. So this thing called the World Ender, you can probably imagine what his hobby is. Rick killed him when he got...
Crocheting!
Yeah, crocheted. But, okay, let me actually describe this whole scene to him. So, this man had an impervious fortress that required these... It required the power of, like, all these characters. One guy literally called Millions of Ants, but also a character who could warp reality. Rick managed to break into his hideout while he was drunk, kill him, kill his minions, and then make them look like they're in a giant orgy.
Oh, God.
Oh, not enough.
Have a little fun.
And then set up some traps for those superheroes while he was drunk. Yeah, Rick could just...
To be fair, people often say you do what you really think. You often do what you think or really want to, or say what you want to when you're drunk.
Yeah, but Rick's killed a world-ending villain while he was drunk, while also planning he also planned a nightclub party at the same time.
Priorities.
And now, of course, his portal's pretty good. He has loads of guns, but Rick himself is a weapon. This is what I was mentioning earlier, like why Rick didn't need Morty to cover him. He has machine guns in his body, incinerators, an arm cannon, blades, even like... Okay, so at one point he was fighting Phoenix Person, who was originally called Bird Person, but died and became a cyborg. He started stabbing...
Okay.
He started stabbing Rick, and he was going to go for his heart. A metal shield formed over Rick's heart, like the instant his skin was punctured. His body is like a weapon. Like if an eternal organ's being damaged, it will go into like a stasis so it keeps him alive, or it'll get immediately replaced with like a robotic part. Like he canonically lost his organic arm in the season 2. No, season 3. Sorry. And do you know what he did? He just put in a robot arm and it immediately came out. Like canonically, he lost that arm. He just has a robot arm now. In fact, he's even managed to toy with magic. Because at one point, he goes into a universe where his science doesn't work because it's another universe. So what does he do? He just steals their magic and makes science from it. Yeah, he's just like, alright, well, I can't use my science, so I'm just going to take your magic, and then in the same hour, I'm going to use it for my own. And this gun basically allows him to do anything he wants that's fantasy related. Turn people into birds? Sure. Turn a dragon into bunnies? Sure. turn lava into bubblegum? Sure. Or hell, he's even turned like his grandchildren into like wizards with it. But of course, this is just Rick's weaponry. Let's talk about his spaceship, because this thing destroys the TARDIS. Because just like the TARDIS, it's a sentient character. It's an AI that's grown a bit of a sassy attitude. If you're familiar with Portal, then you know where this is going. So, but let's talk about this spaceship. So, it has the power to literally wipe out entire solar systems or planets if it wanted to. Well, to be honest, solar system seems way more impressive than a planet. And Sean, I kid you not, it killed a Galactus parody. Yeah, at one point it decided to go joyriding with Morty and Summer when Rick wasn't around, and it decided to kill a Galactus-inspired character. Measured it and went, too small. So, alright, then on to the next thing. Yeah, just casually kills a galaxy ender and just goes, no, too small.
Interesting.
And yeah, this ship can act on its own. It's done so in the past. Like after that whole joyride, it sensed Rick was returning home, so it was like, oh shit, quickly cleaned itself and just stayed parked. Like, yep, nothing happened. And in fact, Rick can actually transport this AI anywhere, in the garage, in his ship, or even in his guns if he wanted to.
Interesting.
And this ship survived being in black holes, it survived planet explosions. It's just built to just be an unstoppable killing machine. I mean, it wasn't designed to be like that. The AI is just that advanced. Like at one point, Rick and Summer were going on an orgy fest, going to like planets going to an end, and so this species decided to have a giant orgy, which I guarantee, if humanity discovers the world's ended, there's going to be an orgy somewhere. So
I do not want to question that.
But Rick decided he wanted to dance. Summer was getting so fed up, she took control of the spaceship. In 2 seconds, just blew up the meteor that was going to kill the Earth. And say how fast this ship is. This ship has flown from the Earth to the moon in 2 seconds. And Rick is piloting this. So, right, I've talked enough about Rick's arsenal, so let's hear the Doctor's arsenal, because despite he doesn't show it a lot, he does actually have a pretty badass arsenal.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, Jesus Christ, he's got a lot of shit he can use. So of course, the thing everyone knows about the Doctor was his sonic screwdriver, or sonic sunglasses, depending on where you're at when you're watching.
Who can forget that iconic sound?
Yep.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Doctor Who, you know that noise.
Yep. And it's capable of shutting down a lot of shit. Only thing it doesn't work on, really, is wood.
I guess it's made by the aliens from Signs.
Viagra, take notes.
Yeah, that's his main thing he uses. He's also got access to chains that are literally indestructible. He's got if he feels nasty, he can unleash the Kyrianites he kept in his library. For case you don't know, Sean, they were creatures that nearly destroyed the Earth during the time of Shakespeare. They basically use woods as they were defeated by Shakespeare's woods, and something from J.K. Rowling. This was before all that shit where it went south, so into wood. He has access to he kept a Dalek gun, because why wouldn't you? He's got parts of Daleks, he's got Cybermen parts. He's got swords, guns, even though he doesn't like guns. But I think the main weapon he has is the TARDIS itself. The TARDIS is technically also a war machine, because they were using the TARDISes a lot during the war.
I can buy the spaceship being a war machine, but you're telling me that phone booth is a war machine.
Well,
it's not actually a phone booth.
Yeah, that's a disguise that broke, and it's stuck in
Right,
that.
the TARDIS don't look like that. It has something called a chameleon sign. Its main purpose is that when it lands somewhere, it blends into the environment. It landed in 1960s London, became a police box, circuit broke, and the Doctor has canonically stated he likes the design. And before you say, well, wouldn't a police box look out of place elsewhere, the TARDIS literally has an ability so you don't see it.
Yeah, well, you see it, but it's like you don't acknowledge it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't acknowledge it. That ability came in very handy during the Topcliffe invasion.
Basically, what racists should do when they see another person that's a different colour from them. Just accept that they live among you.
Yeah, the Topcliffe, by the way, Sean, are humans from the very end of time. Done for a grandfather paradox to kill people in the modern day.
My brain hurts.
That was the entirety of what season 3 was building up to. The master reveal, the Topcliffe, and the that. You do notice it when you go to rewatch it that you do see all that. But yeah, he also has a lot of abilities that come in handy. He can lock you in time. He did this to one of the members of the family of blood, who has stated the Doctor would be the scariest man or creature in the universe if he didn't have a heart. Like, if he was morally corrupt, like, a good example of this was the character David Tennant played in Jessica Jones. Some people are akin to that to a morally corrupted version of. That's kind of what I heard, and I can't really judge. So, yeah, you can do that. There's he also has something called the de-evolutionizer, which does what it says on the tin.
It makes you go from human to monkey.
Not monkey. Completely erases you. Because you do have an atomic structure inside of you, that's what it destroys. It just rewinds you. It's like Ares Quark in My Hero Academia. It will rewind you to your death. Also, the TARDIS itself can outrun stuff like the Big Bang, and is technically, when it blows up with the energy equivalent to the Big Bang. So the TARDIS is a lot faster and a lot more stronger, and it's way more sentient because of due to how a TARDIS is constructed using interdimensional physics. If you are trapped inside the TARDIS, it will fuck about with you if it doesn't want you there.
Yeah, but it doesn't really have any weapons, and it does require the Doctor to at least be in some control.
Well, I was about to ask this. I got a comment. I got a comment under my reaction video talking about something specific with the Doctor and the TARDIS called the heart of TARDIS.
Yeah, the TARDIS has a heart.
Is that the thing responsible for the Big Bang, or is it something different?
I'm not entirely sure.
It's still left as a mystery.
The TARDIS blowing up itself is like the equivalent to the Big Bang. In fact, it was used as a Big Bang to restart the reboot of the universe. It's capable of rebooting the universe if you flew the Pandora current.
Interesting, but Bill was going out. Oh, this is faster. No, this is faster. Should that bring us to our 60-second debate?
All right then. All right then. So, I mean, we are nearing the 2-hour mark, so.
And most of that was just explaining who these characters are.
Yeah, because it's complicated with these two.
Yeah.
It is Rick versus the Doctor. Bill, are you ready to defend Rick?
Oh, Keir was trying to say something.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for the people that had to research the Doctor. That's a lot of shit to go through.
There is. Alright then, I am ready.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, try to get the wubble of a dub-dub.
So, as much as the Doctor is an experienced war veteran and does have a pretty good arsenal, Rick just shoots him out of the water. One, his ship is way more advanced as a weapon killer than the TARDIS. Yes, the TARDIS can technically match the power of a Big Bang when it's destroyed. But what's stopping Rick from just jump into another universe as soon as that goes off? And not only that, he could just easily just put the Doctor in another universe, or even trap the Big Bang in a box that can act as another universe. His whole car is powered by a universe. So I just think that Rick has just way more in his arsenal to deal with the Doctor. And the Doctor tries to be more strategic in the moment, but against someone who's just always ready for a fight and has so many ways of winning, wubba lubba dub dub. Dr. Bean Pickle Rick. I don't know.
That is a terrible pun to end your time on.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a good one, but I had 5 seconds, so I just went wubba lubba dub dub Pickle Rick.
You're going to have to tell me myself, because I'm going to run out of time.
Keir, you have 1 minute to explain why the Doctor wins. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, 3, 2, 1, begin, Mr. Hoovian.
The TARDIS has shields which have been shown to be extremely durable. Not a lot can break them. You have to specifically be able to go round them. Also, the weaponry that the Doctor carries in the TARDIS is a bit more prepared, ironically, to deal with all the Rick's bullshit. Also, Rick's I think isn't able to stop the time lock. You could literally lock Rick in a bit of time, dump him somewhere, fight's over. It's been stated to be a fate worse than death. You can just also trap him inside those chains that you can't block. You can also lock him in mirrors. Also, the heart of the TARDIS will kill him if he looks into it, which is very easy to do. Also, the sonic screwdriver does nullify a lot of Rick's weaponry. Also, I reckon the Doctor's a bit more skilled in combat, because he has...
Time is up.
Alright,
see what I mean by I still haven't watched it?
Just to correct what you were gonna say, Keir, Rick has also fought in a war. He's actually fought in multiple wars. Intentionally and sometimes unintentionally. In fact, he legit stopped an entire...
fought in the war.
No, but it doesn't matter what the war is. He's fought in many wars. Probably way more wars than the Doctor has.
The Doctor fought in the Time War, which was one of the most destructive wars in fictional history.
Okay, just because it's dubbed...
Time itself was being damaged from the war.
Do you know how many wars...
Everything was going to be destroyed.
Okay.
Do you know how many wars have nearly destroyed the universe? Do I need to mention DC?
Really?
Well, I mean, Sean, we need to get to our point.
Let's make our predictions, because Bill, you were saying we've been over 2 hours.
Okay, but I still want to correct some things. Like, just because you dub your war the Time War doesn't mean that war is the definitive war across fiction. Yeah, people have said that, but...
Sontarans, they are a race bred for war. They are literally bred for war.
Okay, yes.
They weren't allowed to take part, and they were fucking pissed.
Okay, that's within the universe of Doctor Who.
Consider...
Like I said, Green Lanterns and DC have fought in wars that destroyed the multiverse. That doesn't make it the most destructive war in fiction. There's been other...
All right. Nate has given his prediction. I asked him who he was going with.
All right, so anyway, so who am I going for? Right then. I don't think the Doctor's going to win this, but I don't think he's going to give a half-assed fight. The thing though about the Doctor, it's kind of like the whole Batman thing. He needs time to prep. He needs to plan out his attack routes. He needs to lure.
No, he doesn't. The Doctor has.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Oh, you correct me on shit. I'll correct you on shit.
All right. I'm not saying, but majority of his villains, he has had to plan out how to destroy them. Has he not?
Well, yes, but he hasn't given a lot of time to do it. But he's often had to figure out on the spot what to do.
Not only that, he has knowledge on these characters. Like, he knows who the Daleks are. He knows who the Sontarans are. But the thing as well is that when it comes to, like, the Doctor himself and Rick is like a walking Swiss Army knife. He has weapons. He has gadgets that are just prepped to deal with a lot of threats. Hell, he has something that just turns you into water. Like, it changes your structure to turn you into water. And he has these on him a lot of the time. The ship carries things. The ship is powered by another universe in itself. And the thing that really threw that... If Rick doesn't have his portal gun...
Are then powered by
if Rick doesn't have his portal gun, it is a lot more even, because, yeah, the portal gun is the thing. Now, of course, there is the question, oh, couldn't the screwdriver just destroy that? It depends, because it is very inconsistent with the screwdriver. It has been overpowered and destroyed by trying to stop foes before. It also can sometimes take a while to hack into things, and Rick's portal gun is stated it's never been hacked aside from another Rick. And even then, that took time to hack it, which Rick's not going to give... If we're going by death battle logic, Rick's not going to give the Doctor time. I'm really disappointed I didn't have that planned as a pun. There's also...
we can at least take that.
And also, being trapped in the time thing, again, with Rick's portal gun, he can escape those. He's escaped prisons that are like that are like a prison.
No, you misunderstand what you mean. They are locked in time in that specific moment. No matter what you're going to do, you are locked in that moment. It doesn't matter what you can do.
Okay, here's my question, because how does that work? Like, what does he have to do to get you trapped there?
Apparently, it's a technique he can do. He did it onto one family of blood member in season 3.
Yeah, but we never saw how he did that. That's why I'm asking you. Has it been shown how it works?
Well, it's like a secret technique, I think.
Yeah, it's a secret technique.
Right, but did he have to neutralize the family, then send them into another world to have this work?
No.
In fact, if I remember correctly, he had to...
He dealt with the family of blood.
He defeated all these guys in different ways. Like, that's just one of the ways.
He defeated them all at once, and he did their punishment like that.
Okay, so it sounds like...
Well, that's the thing. Like,
we're going for Rick, right?
Yeah, because unless Keir can explain to me how this technique works, it just seems like only one way.
I don't know. It's like several things that
in fact,
you can't explain.
Right, that's the thing. Why is Rick... not Rick. Why is the Doctor not use this on other villains? Because it seems like that should be an instant win then for any foe he faces. If this is not
Isn't
something...
that just TV logic?
Hey, hang on a minute. Is that not what the stasis cube technique?
I don't know. Only you would know that. That's what I'm saying. That's...
Yeah, it is. That's what the stasis cubes do. They time lock things.
Right. But again, no.
And he carries around the
I do think Rick can counter this though with his portal gun, and he just seems like he's more equipped to fight someone like Doctor. He's defeated foes way more dangerous than the Doctor. He's defeated interdimensional characters. He's even defeated gods. Like, he's a literal god that can rewrite, like, reality. He's defeated them.
Oh, here we go.
So, just with that, I don't think the Doctor's good. I think with the TARDIS, the Doctor definitely has an edge, because of course the TARDIS has all his weaponry. So...
It also has shields.
Yeah, but again, Rick's weaponry has actually managed to nullify shields, or even just... He could just portal into it, and again, he could just send the Doctor to the Blender universe. So...
Oh, the Doctor's good with portals.
I think with that said...
sounds like...
Yeah, I'm going with Rick. Yeah, just... Which I don't want to say, because I do like the Doctor.
It's been shown in the show.
It's also shown that depending on the tech, it can struggle.
Okay. So, Bill's going for Rick. I asked Mate, while you and Keir were arguing who he's going for, gave me a simple answer. He's going for the Doctor. Mate is going for the Doctor.
Has he explained?
No.
Oh.
Because he's busy today of recording.
That is true, yeah.
Give him some slack.
That is true. I was actually curious because I was like, wait, he gave a full lengthy reason for Dimitri. I was like, Usually Mate gives some really good insights on like his predictions.
He doesn't watch Doctor Who.
Oh.
So,
okay, fair enough.
After hearing everything and taking everything into consideration, yeah, no, I'm going for the Doctor.
Really?
The screwdriver can counter most of Rick's arsenal, even though Rick has that advantage. And based on what I'm hearing about the TARDIS, it is better than the spaceship.
I don't know.
Especially the heart of the TARDIS. That is something a lot of people are bringing up, like that's an instant win condition for the Doctor, and it's a more reliable win condition compared to Rick's portal gun.
I don't know, because he has to like plan out this, and also the screwdriver does need like
and also
direct.
The doctor is sentient. It can open the heart. It's how Rose got to the hardest heart.
Plus, something we didn't even consider is that the doctor can just regenerate. He's done it multiple times. Whereas with Rick, if this Rick dies, that's it.
Yeah, the regenerations have also been weaponized.
Actually, the regeneration can be disrupted.
You didn't bring up an argument. Bill did not provide an argument at this current time for a way to counter the Doctor's regeneration. So, based off everything we've got,
you can just...
My vote is going for the Doctor.
No, actually, now that you mention it, you can change it, because you can actually disrupt the regeneration. You go stationary when you're regenerating. Characters have just shot him again while he was regenerating. He died, canonically.
Yeah, but the thing is, the regenerations were weaponized during the Time Lord. They are incredibly dangerous. In fact, it's stated that the Time Lord is at his most dangerous when he's regenerated.
Fair enough, that's probably something in the newest season.
Because you can't everything, and it can destroy the TARDIS too. So.
Yeah, based off everything I've heard today and taking everything into consideration, I'm giving my vote to the Doctor.
Fair enough. So, Keir, you're definitely committed to the Doctor?
I may as well be.
Fair enough. So, yeah, again, it's another...
I didn't go this far in trying to argue with you to all of a sudden just say Rick Sanchez.
I mean, that's happened on Lads Discuss.
We pulled another Bill versus Purple, everybody. We did it.
I mean, this could also be another case with Obito versus Darth Vader. I was the only one that went for Obito, and I won. Same with Kool-Aid Man.
You're on that high horse. How about the time you went for Guts and Guts versus Dimitri?
You know what, Sean, you keep Sean, you keep on bringing these up. I've had a fair amount of fights where I've went for the one character you guys didn't and won. Stop trying to shame me like that. It's like, it doesn't work anymore.
You kept bringing up your victory.
Sean, you just do that because that's my counter. Well, I tried to keep saying, but Keir kept interrupting. I'll be sad if the Doctor dies because I do like him. Or I guess it.
No, the lads are going. The lads are split again.
Yeah, like I mean, from what I've been seeing online, people are also quite split on this one. Like many people are saying Rick shit stomps.
Yeah,
people are saying the Doctor.
Billy.
This was split on the cast as well. No one could really decide.
Yeah, like it's not a one-sided.
I took a look at the voting for the Death Battle Discord, and oh boy.
Do we want to know?
Yeah, might as well.
So let me pull up the number with a click of a button. It is currently voting-wise 163 votes for the Doctor Who compared to 30 votes for Rick.
Again, that is actually pretty surprising. Though at the same time, we've had this sort of thing where loads of people say this on one server, someone says it different on another server, so...
Oh, that just reminds me of back when Ben 10 fought Green Lantern. Everyone I knew said Ben 10. That went, Green Lantern because DC's bullshit.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day.
I mean,
this is going to be one of the most complicated debates this season.
No, that would be Discord versus Bill Cipher.
Yeah, I mean...
That's why I'm saying one of the most complicated debates.
Yeah, I will say...
The Doctor do master equations for divided universes at one point? So very early on.
I wouldn't know about those, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
so,
he did.
I think
it was in that this time-locked Gallifrey.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be like... What... Because people are also divisive on people are really divided on what you give the Doctor in terms of feats. People say he's only like house level. People have gone like omniversal level. So it's like, I think if they want to take these characters at their peak, they are gonna. Because if Rick's gonna be able to fight against godlike beings, you have to kind of give those sort of feats to the Doctor as well.
Otherwise, it just becomes a petty squash.
Yeah. Like if we said like, okay, if it's just Rick and the Doctor without the TARDIS, without the ship. Yeah, Rick stomps, but that's not interesting. I want to see the ships also in action. Like, that's what makes it an interesting debate. That's why I'm still pissed we've not had the Batmobile, even though Batman can call it Death Battle.
Well, we had the Batmobile in Death Battle.
Yeah,
it got sliced in half.
Yeah, and stationary in one episode. It's like,
oh yeah, it got sliced in half and on.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that bit. Wait, is that the bomb?
So yeah, I guess we should wrap up now. I'll be honest, I think either way I'll be happy whoever wins, because, and here's the thing as well, like, yeah, if Rick dies, he could just come back, so it's like, eh. Like, oh yeah, I should actually, I want to hear Sean's reaction. So, I should be clear about it, this is not like the regeneration thing. So, one point Rick did canonically die, but he accidentally got transported into another universe's version with a clone in a tube. So he had to keep killing himself to try and get back to a reality that could take him to his universe. It was hilarious. And each universe he kept going to was like fascist themed. It was at one point...
That sounds like reincarnation hell.
Yeah, like
it does.
There was at one point he was getting so fed up. He went to a universe full of teddy bears and teddy bear went, "Are you into fascist?" And Rick just goes, "Nope." Kills himself on a glass. But this ain't like a regeneration thing. No, of course, he's in another universe. So by death battle logic, he's lost. So
yeah, it would be like with, as I mentioned earlier on for Scooby Courage, it would be like Courage being trapped in demons in WinCon.
Yeah. So if Rick does canonically die, he's not technically dead, but he can come. That's why I'm not really bothered who wins this. Like, I'll really need a lot of convincing that why the Doctor beats Rick. So I'm still not sure I buy a lot of the feats people are bringing, especially Keir, but I'm still looking for... I want to see how they do the fight, because one of my worries is how are they going to do the Doctor fighting compared to Rick? Because we've seen Rick in action, like, properly fighting over my time period seeing the Doctor fighting, which...
So the Doctor is canonically able to fight.
Yeah.
Is that he doesn't like the... I mean, he does, for example, I know he does Venetian, I think it's Venetian Aikido, which I dubbed the Machamp fighting style, because you need 4 arms for it.
Yeah.
That was literally said by one of the competitors. Venetian Aikido, you need 4 arms for that.
Regardless, though, I'm excited, you know, hey, I wasn't down for the Doctor being a death battle, but, you know, if they can show he's a pretty OP character, then I'm all down for it. I'm just happy, hey, Rick and Morty's getting in. That's a franchise I've wanted to see in death battle for so long. And if Rick does lose, I do worry we might have a toxic fandom thing. I hope not. But if you're familiar if people are familiar with the whole Pickle Rick drama, you know what I'm talking about. So
oh yeah, that's something like I heard as like concern. It's just like Rick and Morty fans apparently are scary as hell.
Yeah, they can be. That's why I just like to just enjoy Rick and Morty without acknowledging them. I live in my shield.
This is why... yeah.
But with that said and done, though, Keir, thank you for joining us once again after a long time since you've been on, lads. And hey, maybe we'll do more content together with Among Us. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on the mood.
I still need to get both of you on to play the new map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all that said and done, thank you all so much for watching. What did you think of Scooby-Doo versus Courage? And what do you think of the next time? Are you split on it? Do you think Rick stomps? Do you think the Doctor stomps? Because both sides are saying the other stomps. It's a headache. In fact, while we were still talking, I was looking at some Reddit. Yeah, it's what I expected. People are just saying, oh, this guy stomps, the other stomps. It's like, fucking hell. It's going to be one of those episodes, I know it. But with all that said and done, thank you all so much for watching, and stick around, we'll have more content as that in the future. Shawnee.
Thank you folks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Thanks again to Mr. Keir for joining us for today's discussion. Hopefully we don't have to wait another 2 seasons to get Keir back on. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, you better hope another character in the franchise that pretty well comes on.
We'll get you one if Mape actually predicts Kazuya versus Wesker.
I still want Kazuya versus Irori.
Well, thank you folks for watching. I love reading your comments. If you have any comments, and I will see you all later.
And Keir, have your outro. Even though you don't have one, just
hey, I finally get to do one. Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It's been nice to do this again, and hopefully, as I'm not waiting another 2 years to come back on to do this.
No promises.
It was fun debating. No promises. It was fun debating who would win with the Doctor, because this is not something I've ever done before. or it had to explain properly who the Doctor is. But it was nice to be back on with you guys. And well, and if you're annoyed that I'm essentially replacing Mate for the last 2 episodes, sorry, he was the one who drafted me in. So, oh, and leave a comment if you want to see me come back on.
Okay, I guess is that where we're ending it? Okay.
Might as well, unless you guys have a point.
Here's a funny butt shot. I don't know. Usually we have awkward intros, not outros. Bye.